was Scott's 10th blown save this season, highest in the major leagues. Ohtani has not given up a run in each of his last 3 starts, but the Dodgers have lost each game. The Dodgers are going to need their relievers to step up to win another World Series championship. Top 5 college football teams in this week's HBCU Top 25 poll: Jackson State, Alabama State, North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, and Alabama A&M. 2-1 Jackson State is the only HBCU team ranked in this week's NCAA Division I AA poll. Jackson State, ranked number 17, is at Southern University on Saturday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley. 25th LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
What's up, man? Man, what was you doing, man? What's up with that? Man, I was doing the ooh. Hey, yo, man, come on. What's up? I've been hanging out at the Fantasia, you know, they be rocking their hands. Hey, man, what's up with the Fantasia? Man, you tell me that. Females, it's all right. Yeah, they be deaf. They be deaf. I want that. They be on my Bozak. Hey, Mike, you got that, man? You got that, man? Hey, man, I got the cosmos. Hey, man, go ahead, take it to the cosmos. I said, I got the cosmos. Get free. Going down 106 Fish Street, passing that ball. Oh, man, don't do it to me. Oh, man, she look like Betty Boop. Betty Boop. Betty Boop. I put it to you. A Betty Boop and an alley was jumping up and down. Said Betty Boop, the alley.
Oh, that's so funky. It's so funky. I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you with us in this hour. As promised, 2 conversations on the B side. Marion Orr, Brown University public policy professor, on his new text about the rise and fall of America's most consequential black congressman, Charles C. Diggs Jr. The book is called House of Diggs. I said, Michael Lomax, at the top of the show today, that when you title the book The Most Consequential Black Congressman, you think of Adam Clayton Powell Jr., for example. So we're going to let Marion Orr make his case for why Charles C. Diggs Jr. was the most consequential black congressman. We'll do that on the backside of this hour. You just heard me shout out my friend Michael Lomax, Dr. Michael Lomax. He's in studio. So if you're watching, you see him, you saw him walk in here. You've heard this more than one time. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, philanthropist MacKenzie Scott. And I always feel some sort of way about referring to her that way because she's a woman and a philanthropist, a leader in her own right. But she did change her name, go back to her maiden name after they got divorced. So when you say MacKenzie Scott, you got to make that connection in case you don't know who she is. She is, in fact, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife. But her name is MacKenzie Scott, and she just gifted the United Negro College Fund $70 million. $70 not $70 million. I ain't mad at the UNCF. I am honored because he happens to be in town. So how fortunate am I to have in studio? I'm looking at his handsome visage right now. Dr. Michael Lomax, who
Great to be with you,
leads,
my friend.
the UNCF. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. You know, it's a beautiful day in Los Angeles, in my old neighborhood, Lamert Park. You know, I'm back home, man.
Yeah. Well, how could you not be good when somebody cuts you a check for $70 million? When I saw that news break, I couldn't even wrap my brain around that.
You know, you so old school. Nobody cuts checks anymore.
Yeah,
they do a wire transfer.
I'm showing my age, am I?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still thinking the big check presentation.
No, well, we can all. First of all, I've never met MacKenzie Scott.
You never even met her?
I've never met her. This is her second gift to UNCF. In 2020, she made a gift of $10 million. And a couple of weeks ago, she wire transferred $70 million. And in that 5 years, she decided to increase sevenfold the support to the United Negro College Fund. UNCF of mine is a terrible thing to waste. And all I can say is hallelujah.
Yeah.
And then thank you.
So let me just pause here for a second. I wish that somebody who I'd never met would give me 10 million.
Yeah.
And after still not meeting them, give me another 70 million. How is it possible that you've not met MacKenzie Scott?
Well, because she is a private citizen,
right,
of great wealth, who is doing public good.
Yeah.
And if that's the way she wants to live her life, you know what I say? Great to her.
God bless you. Yeah.
You know, first of all, she is the co-builder of Amazon.
Right.
And that's what,
that's a better introduction, right?
Yeah.
There.
And number two, over the last 5 years, she's given $19 billion to hundreds, maybe thousands of nonprofits. And, it's interesting. When they call you, and this is what they do, they reached out to me 5 years ago. Someone I'd never met, and still haven't met the person who reached out to me.
Yeah.
And they say, we're calling in behalf of MacKenzie Scott. She admires the work that you are doing and wants to support it with 5 years ago, a $10 million gift. She believes you're the expert, so you decide how it will be used. And in that case, they didn't want us to mention who gave it to us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after she'd made a number of other gifts that they listed us. This time, and this is a funny story, okay? Yeah. It's a beautiful, funny story. I had a text message that I received. I had an email that I received from a person who had been involved in the first gift 5 years before. And she said, Dr. Lomax, you've received 2 emails from us. And this is the name of the organization, and you haven't responded. It's about a gift. And I said, oh, excuse me. I thought it was a hoax.
Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. This Negro had 2 emails in his inbox.
Yeah.
About the 70 million.
No, well, it didn't say 70 at that point.
Whatever it was.
Just said, we'd like to talk to you.
Whatever it was.
And I said, I don't know these people. This is a hoax. I'm not answering. So
stop. Hold that thought. You messing me up, man. I'm going to check my emails when I get off the air today, just to make sure there aren't 2 emails sitting there where they want to talk to me about some kind of gift. Michael Lomax is our guest. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-373-7519. That's 800-373-7519.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. Picked up for 40 days of consistent sin. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at kbla1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to kbla1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Before I get back to let Michael Lomax get back to this funny story about these emails in his inbox that he ignored when they were trying to give him some money. I was just saying to him, I just asked him off air how long he's been at UNCF now, 21 years.
Right.
And I celebrate that. Congratulations on that. They're blessed to have you, and obviously they respect the work you're doing. They have kept you there all these years. But the same is true of Mark Morial at the Urban League.
That's right.
You guys aren't that far apart. I mean,
no, and you know, we're friends.
Yeah, sure.
We both came to the work from New Orleans because I was president of Dillard. He was the mayor.
Right.
And sometimes you just have to go away to try something different, and it winds up being the calling that you were looking for. And UNCF is that for me. And Mark, great mayor, who has just done fantastic work at the National Urban League.
Yeah, but I celebrate both of you, and I'm always thrilled to have both of you, either of you, on this program. All right, so you got two emails that you ignored. Pick the story up.
Yeah, so I had two emails, and I looked and I said, there they are. And and I apologized, and this lady said, well, I'm not going to talk to you about this. We have someone else who will speak with you if you'll answer the email. I answered the emails, gave my apologies, and had a call with an individual, and she said, thank you for returning my call. Thank you for answering my email. And she said that she represented MacKenzie Scott. They wanted to make a gift, and this time the gift you'll get it, and it'll be wired to your organization after you fill out some forms, and then you will be able to immediately say that it's a gift from MacKenzie Scott, and it's also unrestricted. You make the decision about how it will be used. And then I said, because I didn't want to be rude. I
Yeah.
said, "Can I ask how much it's going to be?"
Mhm.
Now, we had gotten $10 million from MacKenzie Scott 5 years earlier,
Yeah.
and she said $70 million. And I said, "Excuse me? 70?"
And she
And
said yes.
I'm very infrequently at a loss for words.
Yeah.
And I was, honestly, I was just shocked. I was elated.
Yeah.
And so grateful because it was going to be, we were doing a big project. I needed to raise $80 million to bring it, and I'll talk to you a little bit about it because it's an endowment project.
Sure.
And I kept wondering, how am I going to get this $80 million? It's going to take me forever to raise this money.
Yeah. And
And when you add the $10 million that she had given, which we hadn't spent, we had put that into a reserve.
Yeah.
In 2020, MacKenzie Scott was the answer to my prayers.
Well, there it is.
$80 million.
Yeah.
And how are we going to? So, Michael, how are you going to use this money?
No, before you answer that question,
Okay.
let me jump in right quick because I do want to hear how you're going to use it. Before I get to that part, though, I am struck by MacKenzie Scott granting you $80 million and telling you that they respect your work, they trust you to know how to spend that money.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I have received millions of dollars of grants in total over the course of my career, running all the enterprises that I run. And I can't recall one time where somebody gave me $1 million, much less 70, and said, "Tavis, we trust you to make the decision about how to spend this." They want reports. They want you to follow up. So before we get to how you're going to spend it, what do you make of the fact that they trust UNCF to know how to spend $80 million?
Well, first of all, I believe they do a lot of homework before they send those emails.
I would hope so.
And before they talk to people. So, America has a huge social sector.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the nonprofits that do work in education, arts, culture, medical science, a range of social justice, a range of areas.
Mm-hmm.
And she's given in each of those categories.
Yeah.
But she doesn't ask you to submit a proposal. They've already done their homework. They've decided. My judgment is that they've been looking at the sector, who's making a difference, and they've made gifts. And they've also taken some bets, if I may use that term, on organizations that don't normally get a lot of support. And they've changed that narrative. Yeah. They made, I think, in 2020, they made about $500 million in gifts. I may be wrong on the number, but it's somewhere in that to HBCUs. Yeah. And 3 institutions got $50 million, which was the largest gift. Howard got one, I believe North Carolina A&T, and Prairie View, mechanical and agricultural, A&M. Yeah. So why those institutions? Well, Howard is the biggest private. North Carolina A&T, fantastic institution, the biggest public. And Prairie View was, their president was a woman named, oh my God, no, it just went out of my brain. But the president of Prairie View, and I'll get it in a second, and then I'm going to kick myself, had been the Ruth Simmons.
I was trying to give you time. I was going to go there.
Ruth had been.
I was going to give you a hint. Dillard, Brown.
Yeah,
I was going to give you a hint. Yeah.
But she'd also been the provost at Princeton.
That's correct.
Where MacKenzie Scott went to university and studied under Toni Morrison, because MacKenzie Scott is also a novelist, and so they got that. But there were a number of other grants in there. And and people were saying, well, but giving that kind of money to HBCUs, well, when we announced this gift of $70 million earlier in the week, there had been another announcement in Austin, Texas, by President Melva Wallace at Houston-Tillotson University, an HBCU there, where she and the the Moody Foundation, she announced a $150 million gift for Moody. The largest gift ever made to a small private HBCU. Last year, Michael Bloomberg gave $175 million to each of the three historically black medical schools, Howard, Meharry, and my brain is, and the Morehouse School of Medicine.
That one you should know.
Yeah, I know. I just my brain. Look, I'm getting old.
Since you're a Morehouse man.
So first of all, trust philanthropy doesn't get done. That's what she's doing. She's saying I trust, but she's also doing it at scale.
Let me ask you right quick. I'm watching my time. We got about 8 minutes left, and I want to cover a few more things right quick. What's driving this interest in HBCUs right about now? Let me say this. I don't want to make you political. This is me talking. So when they play this back, this is Tavis, not Michael. We're in a moment now where we have an administration that's anti-DE&I. Many of us believe they're running an anti-black agenda. And yet there is this interest by others in these black colleges and universities. What's that about, number one? And even as I offer that commentary about this administration, I'm also mindful that the Trump administration has just shifted $435 million to HBCUs as other colleges are losing funding. Now, I don't quite understand that given their politics, but they're sending money to HBCUs. Maybe you can make sense of all this for me. Let me shut up and pass the mic to you.
Well, I think number one is that finally the truth is out there that HBCUs are doing incredible work with too few resources. And number two, that while they are historically black colleges and universities, they are not exclusively black. The doors at HBCUs have been open to anyone for 150 plus years. And, back in the day, they had white presidents. They still have, you go on any HBCU campus, you're going to find white faculty and Asian faculty. But you know what? You're also going to find 20% of the students are other. So I think that my belief is that people have to acknowledge and are acknowledging at every end of the political spectrum, and I try to stay out of politics, that these are exemplary institutions and a whole lot of people want to go to them. And that's why, I think they're getting more resources from the federal government and from the private sector.
Did you guys press Trump? Who pressed Trump? Who gave him this idea? It wasn't in Project 2025. Who gave him this idea for this $435 million to go to HBCU?
Well, actually, we have been in dialogue with the administration and the Congress since the beginning of the year. And President Trump did issue an executive order in which he said, these are great institutions. Everybody should support them. When there was a ruling by the Department of Justice that supporting minority serving institutions, which designates certain ethnic groups for the funding, was illegal, they decided we didn't talk to them. They decided not to send the money back to the Treasury and to move it over to historically black colleges and universities. We are grateful. And we said thank you.
As you should have. I've got 4 minutes left. And before I say thank you to you for coming in these 4 minutes from now, that question that we didn't get to, how are you going to spend this money? Is this endowment money? You spending it? What are you going to do with it?
Well, we're trying to build black wealth. Let me rephrase that. We're trying to build HBCU wealth. Most of us live paycheck to paycheck. We don't necessarily have a lot of housing. We don't own homes as much as others. And we don't have money in the bank. HBCUs have 70% less in their endowments than their non-HBCU peers. So we're trying to do something innovative. We're setting aside $5 million for each of the 37 private institutions that are part of UNCF, HBCUs. So each of them will have $5 million that we're going to put in a locked box called a pooled endowment. Then we're going to work with them to match that. And so we've already raised our share. We're going to work with them. Then we're going to have $370 million. And, you know, each of them will then have a $10 million share in that endowment. And when you invest $370 million at one time, you get a whole lot better returns than if 37 people invest $10 million. So we're going to be building this pooled endowment, and our goal is that that pooled endowment ultimately will be $1 billion. And so we're out there working on that. And while a lot of people are talking about things, we're just out there every day asking somebody to put more money into those endowments. And that will close that wealth gap. Not completely, but it will partially close that wealth gap. And what happens when you have money in an endowment, you don't have to just rely on tuition. And we're giving, and our institutions are already receiving millions of dollars a year from UNCF. Now they will receive more from this source.
I have said any number of times in my career that while I am appreciative of philanthropy, it's important that we remember that charity is not justice. Philanthropy is not justice. And yet, as I listen to you explain what you're going to do with this money now, it occurs to me that while charity is not justice, philanthropy is not justice, you can use it to create justice for
and
those
opportunity and opportunity.
There you go.
And, you know, one of the words that I think just about everybody on the spectrum believes in still is opportunity. And what we're providing, what MacKenzie Scott has provided us with is an opportunity. We're going to already show that that opportunity is multiplied in its impact. And we hope that others will join us in providing opportunity for a great group of higher education institutions, HBCUs.
Not unlike you, I have not met MacKenzie Scott either. But if I ever do, I'm going to give her a big hug for you.
You do that.
And for all the rest of us in Black America who are grateful for the $80 million she has contributed to the United Negro College Fund. I doubt MacKenzie Scott's listening right now, but if she is, MacKenzie Scott, we appreciate you for this amazing gift. And Michael Lomax, I always appreciate you, sir, for coming in the studio.
Thank you. And remember, a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Dr. Michael L. Lomax on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Hillary Clinton says Ukraine's fight against Russia is a fight for all of us, calling it our war.
If that's what President Trump is now recognizing, more to him. I'm glad to see it.
Her comments came on MSNBC's Morning Joe a day after President Trump met with Ukraine's President Zelensky and said Ukraine could reclaim all its territory. Wells Fargo is settling a lawsuit over fake DEI interviews for jobs already filled. The lawsuit alleges that Wells Fargo conducted sham interviews to meet diversity hiring mandates. The bank denies wrongdoing, but court approval is expected by October 13th. And Black DC Metro Transit officer Cachet Fields uses her photographic memory to ID suspects and solve major crimes. As a Bolo specialist, she's helped crack cases from robbery to homicide, earning praise for her sharp mind and respect for all. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers will have trouble getting past the first round of the playoffs if their bullpen doesn't perform better. Shohei Ohtani had 8 strikeouts and a 4-0 lead after going 6 innings last night at Arizona. The Dodgers ended up losing 5-4. Arizona scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th off reliever Tanner Scott. It was Scott's 10th blown save this season, highest in the major leagues. Ohtani has not given up a run in each of his last 3 starts, but the Dodgers have lost each game. The Dodgers are going to need their relievers to step up to win another World Series championship. Top 5 college football teams in this week's HBCU Top 25 poll: Jackson State, Alabama State, North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, and Alabama A&M. 2-1 Jackson State is the only HBCU team ranked in this week's NCAA Division I AA poll. Jackson State, ranked number 17, is at Southern University on Saturday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapor Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapor Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed. Again, congratulations to Dr. Michael Lomax and the team at UNCF for receiving that now $80 million total gift from MacKenzie Scott. What a way to what a way to spend your money. She was what was that number, Miles? After that divorce, she was worth how much? $36 billion. So that divorce, when she and Jeff Bezos got divorced, MacKenzie Scott made her the richest woman in the world at $36 billion. And you heard Michael Lomax say she's giving away $19 billion of that 36. Of course, it continues to grow every day if you're investing it well. But it's just an amazing story of philanthropy, and I'm glad that MacKenzie Scott chose the UNCF. All right, we pivot now to Marion Orr, Brown University public policy professor, and discuss his new book about the rise and fall of America's most consequential Black Congressman, Charles C. Diggs Jr. The book is called House of Diggs. Professor Orr, good to have you on. How are you today, sir?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm doing well. I'm very excited about being on your show.
I'm glad to have you on, and want to make the most of the time that we have here. I said earlier in today's program that when you write a book called House of Diggs, and you refer to Mr. Diggs as America's most consequential Black congressman, you're like, okay, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., there are others. Before I get into the book, why jump out that way, referring to him as the most consequential Black congressperson ever?
Congressman Diggs left a extensive legacy, Tavis. He was the founder of the Congressional Black Caucus, which today is perhaps one of the most powerful Black political organizations in the country. Charles Diggs Jr. was the congressperson, Tavis, who pushed through the Congress in 1973. The Home Rule Bill that granted or restored home rule to Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. Charles Diggs was also the visionary who helped create the organization that became known as Trans-Africa. Tavis, the American anti-apartheid movement, literally started in Congressman Charles C. Diggs Jr.'s congressional office. I say he was so consequential because he left just a tremendous legacy.
Yep. Give me a bit of his backstory. We all know he's from Detroit, of course, but give me that Charles Diggs backstory.
Well, Charles Diggs was the son of the Great Migration. His parents moved to Detroit in the 1920s, and they formed a huge and important mortuary business in Detroit known as the House of Diggs Funeral Home. At one point, Tavis, they buried nearly half of the Black folk who lived in Detroit. Charles Diggs' father parlayed the success of House of Diggs into electoral politics, winning office to the Michigan State Senate in 1936. His son, Charles Diggs Jr., will follow his father's footsteps in public service, becoming elected in 1954, the first Black congressman from Michigan, and he never looked back. He stayed in office until 1980. And as I said, he did some very, very tremendous and important things, not only here, Tavis, in the United States, but indeed in Africa. And he's almost forgotten. In my book, The House of Diggs, really tries to bring him back and restore him to his rightful place.
Yeah, there are a lot of all-stars in Detroit. I'm thinking of course, John Conyers, who comes along later. You got John Conyers, Damon Keith, of course, the renowned federal judge there. Of course, the mayor of that city, Coleman Young, back in the day. But there are a lot of stars, a lot of brilliant Black people inside of Detroit. I understand what the House of Diggs, the mortuary, afforded the family. But tell me more about how Charles Diggs Jr. becomes the first Black congressman out of Detroit.
Yes, well, I'll tell you what happened. His father, as I said earlier, became a state senator. The father got into some trouble in Michigan in terms of state bribery laws, Tavis, and went to prison for a short period. The father came out of prison, ran for his old seat, won the seat, but the Republicans who controlled the legislature at the time refused to seat the elder Diggs. So in 1951, his son, Charles Diggs Jr., ran for the state Senate and won his father's seat. And 3 years later, Diggs ran and won his seat in Congress. When he arrives in Congress in 1955, Tavis, there are only 2 other Black members of Congress, Adam Clayton Powell, whom you mentioned earlier, and the other one was a man named William Levi Dawson from Chicago. And so you had 3 Black members in Congress when once Diggs arrives.
Yep.
Tavis, one of the first things this young congressman does, he's 32 years old. He comes to Congress in 1955, and he immediately goes down to Sumner, Mississippi, where the 2 men who murdered Emmett Till were on trial down there, and he sat through the trial of those 2 white men over 5 days. A very, very important thing that he did there.
Well, why? Here he is from Detroit. Of course, Emmett is from Chicago, visiting his relatives in Mississippi. But why does a congressman at the age of 32 from Motown travel down south to that particular trial?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's important to understand is his roots is from Mississippi. He is a son of the soil of Mississippi. His father was from the Mississippi Delta. So in a real sense, he is really going back to his roots. But the important thing here, Tavis, to underscore is as Diggs goes down to Mississippi as a new Congress member from Michigan, what he's saying to the U.S. and to the world is that he is not going to be only a congressman from Detroit. In fact, at the end of the trial, he says very clearly that he plans to be a congressman for all Americans. So he's making a statement early on that he does not see himself confined, if you will, to solely representing Detroit and Michigan.
How did the media cover having a United States congressman sitting in that courtroom for that trial?
Well, I think the media coverage is very important. I think Diggs' presence there, Diggs' presence at the trial, the only federal official at the trial was Congressman Diggs. Moreover, as a new member of Congress, he's only in Congress a few months now, he attracts media attention. And moreover, Tavis, you can imagine many of the media down south in Mississippi is not used to a Black congressman. So he attracts media attention simply because he is the highest ranking federal official observing the trial. But let me add very quickly, Tavis, that his significance in that trial goes beyond that. What happened here is that the Black witnesses who subsequently came forward, and they were afraid to come forward, but they came forward. And when they were interviewed after the trial, several of them noted that having the Black congressman in the courtroom, in their presence, gave them the strength and courage to point an accusing finger at those 2 white men who murdered Emmett Till. So it was not only the media that he drew, but he had a real impact on the Black witnesses who were frightened to death in the 1950s to accuse a white man of murder.
I pressed Professor Orr on that word consequential earlier. He is making his case for why Charles Diggs Jr. was in fact so consequential. When we come forward, I want to just have him say a word about his being there as one of the founders of the Congressional Black Caucus. It is not lost on me that it's September. The Congressional Black Caucus is having their annual legislative conference right now in Washington. My colleague Jesse Jackson Jr., former member of Congress himself, is broadcasting his show live from D.C. this week. And so that gathering all these years later is still going on, that annual legislative conference hosted by the CBC. They're now, 62 members strong, the largest number they've ever seen. Charles Diggs Jr. helps to found the CBC, but as you also heard Professor Orr say, he founded Trans-Africa. I never knew Charles Diggs Jr., but I was very, very close friends with Randall Robinson, traveled the world with Randall Robinson, who ran Trans-Africa And when Mandela came to this country, he made it abundantly clear, had it not been for Trans-Africa, he might still be sitting in prison. So, such is the legacy of Charles Diggs Jr. More with Marion Orr when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. That's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte. Let's preserve Black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Fothery, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from Black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, Black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of Black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling Black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic Black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandlost.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number and put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
The book is called House of Diggs, The Rise and Fall of America's Most Consequential Black Congressman, Charles C. Diggs Jr. The timing of the book could not be more propitious, given that the CBC is having its annual legislative caucus gathering in Washington right about now. And it was Charles C. Diggs Jr. who founded the Congressional Black Caucus. Among other things, he's the chief architect of legislation, as Professor Orr mentioned earlier, that restored home rule to D.C. and almost single-handedly ignited the American anti-apartheid movement in the 60s that Randall Robinson he ultimately led as the leader of Trans-Africa. My time is getting tight. Take me back to the founding of the CBC and tell me how that happened.
Well, thank you, Tavis. In the archives at Howard University, Tavis, I found a letter, and it is the first and only written proposal of what would become the Congressional Black Caucus. In January of 1957, Tavis, John H. Johnson, owner and publisher of Ebony and Jet magazine.
Oh, yeah.
He wrote to three Black congressmen, Diggs, Adam Clayton Powell, and William Dawson. And Tavis, Mr. Johnson told the three congressmen that they ought to form a Negro caucus, quote unquote. So So the idea behind the caucus originated from John H. Johnson, the media mogul of the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Now, Diggs responded in a wonderful way to this letter, and he would take on this task of forming the Congressional Black Caucus. He responded to Johnson saying in 1957, well, there's only 3 of us. And he said, Diggs said, that is, perhaps once the complexion, quote unquote, of Congress changed, maybe we should then have a, quote, Negro caucus. In 1968, the complexion of the caucus did change with the arrival of Shirley Chisholm, Lou Stokes, Bill Clay. And so Tavis in 1969, Diggs brought together the then 6 Black members of the House and formed what was called the Democratic Select Committee. That's what Diggs called the group. This group, the Democratic Select Committee, in 1971 will become the Congressional Black Caucus.
I love that backstory. I love history. I love the backstory. And again, here they are all these years later, still doing what they do. 62 members strong. Their session, their annual gathering is going on right now as we speak in D.C. And then Mr. Johnson was a dear friend of mine. I had the honor of being one of 3 persons to eulogize him at his homegoing service there in Chicago. I would never go to Chicago without going to spend some time with him at the headquarters there on Michigan. And I did not know that part of the story, though. I did not know that he was the one that suggested to them that they form a Congressional Black Caucus, but that's why I love me some John H. Johnson. The book is called House of Diggs, The Rise and Fall of America's Most Consequential Black Congressman, Charles C. Diggs, Jr. Our remaining moments with the author of this text, Professor Marion Orr, Brown University, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. BenefitsCheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
I got a tight 2 minutes here left with Professor Marion Orr. Say a quick word about the founding of Trans-Africa.
Trans-Africa was the visionary of Charles Diggs Jr. Tavis, in 1959, Diggs became the first Black American to sit on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. And he immediately was interested in Africa. And one of the things he said early on in the 50s, Tavis, was that Black Americans should have a lobby organization that would lobby for Africa, similar to the way Jewish Americans have a lobby for Israel. Yep. So Diggs was talking about what would become Trans-Africa in the 1950s. And because of his connections and his work in Africa, he was able to bring people together around this, around his vision for a Black American-led lobby focused on Africa. And that's why he hired Randall Robinson to be his chief of staff, and brought Mr. Robinson on to help form Trans-Africa. As you said earlier, Trans-Africa played a significant role in bringing down the apartheid regime in South Africa.
No, Randall Robinson was my dear friend, my dear brother. Again, we traveled the world together. And I'm just always honored to even mention his name. I got a quick 45 seconds, which is just enough for you to tease. We talked about the rise. In 45 quick seconds, tease the fall, and folk can read more about it in the text.
Well, thank you very much, Tavis. He had a big fall in June of 1980. The congressman resigned from Congress because he was convicted by a jury on a payroll kickback scheme. Diggs gave his secretary a raise in her salary, and that salary raise came back to Diggs to pay his personal bills. The house of Diggs' funeral home had collapsed, and because of that, the congressman was, if you will, desperate, and he did something he should not have done. And in June of 1980, he resigned from Congress, Tavis, and in July of 1980, the congressman went to prison for 7 months.
It is quite a story, a long and storied political career, 1951 to 1980. You've been teased, but how this all ends. But I have not done justice in 30 minutes to this book. It's called House of Diggs, The Rise and Fall of America's Most Consequential Black Congressman, Charles C. Diggs Jr. I highly recommend it. I thank its author, Brown University Public Policy Professor Marion Orr, for doing the research to bring this to us and for coming on this program. Professor Orr, thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Hillary Clinton says Ukraine's fight against Russia is a fight for all of us, calling it our war.
If that's what President Trump is now recognizing, more to him. I'm glad to see it.
Her comments came on MSNBC's Morning Joe a day after President Trump met with Ukraine's President Zelensky and said Ukraine could reclaim all its territory. Wells Fargo is settling a lawsuit over fake DEI interviews for jobs already filled. The lawsuit alleges that Wells Fargo conducted sham interviews to meet diversity hiring mandates. The bank denies wrongdoing, but court approval is expected by October 13th. And Black DC Metro Transit Officer Cachet Fields uses her photographic memory to ID suspects and solve major crimes. As a Bolo specialist, she's helped crack cases from robbery to homicide, earning praise for her sharp mind and respect for all. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers will have trouble getting past the first round of the playoffs if their bullpen doesn't perform better. Shohei Ohtani had 8 strikeouts and a 4-0 lead after going 6 innings last night at Arizona. The Dodgers ended up losing 5-4. Arizona scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th off reliever Tanner Scott. It was Scott's 10th blown save this season, highest in the major leagues. Ohtani has not given up a run in each of his last 3 starts, but the Dodgers have lost each game. The Dodgers are going to need their relievers to step up to win another World Series championship. Top 5 college football teams in this week's HBCU Top 25 poll: Jackson State, Alabama State, North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, and Alabama A&M. 2-1 Jackson State is the only HBCU team ranked in this week's NCAA Division I AA poll. Jackson State, ranked number 17, is at Southern University on Saturday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more.